The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Let's go! What's that? It's gonna be a football game tonight now. No doubt. It's gonna be a football game here. Okay. I done been here before. All right, let's go, baby.
9. Rushing 4, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground, and it's still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line. Vaughn Miller did it again.
Alabama back on top of the college football world.
Ladies and gentlemen, football to the max.
Your host, Sean Garmer, Gary Vaughn, and Randy Isbell.
Hello, and welcome to another Football to the Max. I don't know if we got the drum beat to start the show, but hey, Gary brought us in with some style. So
yeah, see, we never know when the show starts anymore. Sean just pushes the button.
Hello, I'm putting you on mute, and we're starting. You guys didn't hear that part.
I'm sorry. I think I was in the Salvation Army bucket at the time. So.
Oh, the buckets makes you deaf too? That's fine. What's up, Randy? At least it wasn't Randy this time. They got stuck on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I figured I'd let Gary take the blame this time.
See, Randy's smart man. He kept quiet until the show officially started. So, well.
Well, there you go. You never know how we're going to start the show anymore. That's, I guess some unpredictability is not bad. Not bad at all. So, anyway, of course, we'll get into the New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles last Thursday night game of the season. I'm sure, many of us are glad that is over. Sad that we have to deal with it for next year, too. And then, of course, the Dallas Cowboys have now clinched a playoff spot thanks to the New York Giants' loss, 24-19 to the Philadelphia Eagles. So we'll get into that as well. The NFL has announced their Pro Bowl rosters, and we'll talk about how those rosters look. If there's anybody that's just like a glaring omission here, or snub, or whatever. And then, of course, we'll get into our NFL Week 16 games, which include almost the entire slate being on Christmas Eve. A couple of games Christmas Day, since it falls on Sunday. And then you still got the Monday night game that also features the Cowboys against the Detroit Lions. So, before we start here, anybody have any crazy Christmas plans or anything?
Crazy Christmas plans?
I mean, like, do you have to go to a bunch of places, or just you go into one place, or?
I actually, this year, we are going to my in-laws who live about an hour away from where I'm at, so that's not too bad. And so really, it's not too bad of a year this year, honestly. We'll have some fun. Probably go look at Christmas lights. My in-laws live right near the Texas Motor Speedway. If you're a NASCAR fan, you know that place. And they have a nice, light display out there, and they have a little holiday town inside the track right there in the middle of it. So there's a lot of cool stuff to do. Especially when you go over there at Christmas time. So we'll probably do that and a few other things. So nothing way out of our realm, nothing. We're not traveling 5 hours or anything this year.
What about you, Randy?
Just staying in town, going to different parents' houses for my side and Haley's side, and just basically trying to catch as much football as I can this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's going to be fun to also for Randy, because people are going to be chatting about the new baby too. So that's going to be cool. I remember my first year, my wife was expecting, and that's all everyone ever talked about at Christmas at that time. So Randy will get to enjoy that.
Yeah, luckily for Randy, he's already been through this once. So for us, when we got it, we only had to do, that was the first time. Mine was under a much different circumstances than yours was. But it was still fun, just because, like, it was weird to talk about. Just, at that point, I didn't. It's like, what do you say?
Mm-hmm.
Like, excited and whatever, and it's like, okay, you're gonna give me the same question 20 times. Like, after about the second time, I don't know how to answer you any differently. But whatever, here we go.
Yeah, I didn't tell y'all, but that was when I actually announced to my family and my wife's family that we were going to have a baby, was at Christmas time. That was their gift. It was part of their gift. I know. So.
Oh, that's right. You told me y'all were gonna do some kind of weird thing where you're gonna.
It was a puzzle. They had
a
Christmas puzzle to put together, and then it said, "Hey, we're expecting." So.
That's cool. I
yeah.
like that. See,
you're just lucky that you're just lucky your family could do puzzles. You could have just completely fallen apart if they couldn't figure it out.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie. There was a point where they were like, "What does this mean?" Or how do you? Okay, where does this piece go? And I'm like, it's taking way too long. Here, I'll just tell you. Anyway.
So I guess we should get into this Thursday night game. I'll tell you what, trying to watch. At least for me, trying to watch something on your phone, on Twitter, just doesn't work. Like, most of the time it buffered. So I think that's my first and last time of me trying to watch something on Twitter live. And maybe it would have worked better on my computer, but I was trying to do things on my computer and watch the game on my phone. It didn't want to cooperate with me. I mean, I'm sure y'all have better watching options than I did, but nonetheless, the New York Giants tried to make the comeback, yet they could not finish the job, as they lose by 5 and now need a little bit of help to get into the playoffs instead of being able to clinch the spot themselves, beating an Eagles team that was surely and still is going for a losing record at this point. It's a divisional game, and you can never, just take something for granted. Eli Manning does throw for 356 yards and a touchdown. Odell Beckham gets 150 yards, but that is not enough. Surprising.
Yeah. It was a little surprising only for the fact that I really was not sold that the Eagles' offense could do much in this game. I really felt like the Giants' defense has hit a spark, and that spark was going to keep them going. And in fact, I kind of felt like that was going to take them into the playoffs and really do a lot of good for the Giants. And, it's not that they still played fine, but the Giants' defense really – it didn't have an answer sometimes for what Philadelphia was doing. And I think it's for the fact, like you said, it's a divisional game. These teams know each other very well. And, when you let a team get ahead quickly, then problems arise. And that's kind of what happened in this game, is the fact that the Eagles were able to jump on the board pretty quickly here and, put it on the Giants to catch up. And when you do that, of course, that's going to affect the rest of this entire game, and that's what happened. And not only that, I think a lot of this also has to rely on what we saw with Eli Manning. And once again, interceptions. A pick six was the big thing here. The Giants' defense only technically, I think, gave it like 17 points, but that pick six mattered in this game, and Eli also threw another critical one.
You're talking about Darren Sproles getting a big 25-yard run, and then about 2 minutes later, or a little bit less than that, you get the pick six. So it's like, as you mentioned, 14-0 really fast. And the Giants don't score a touchdown until almost about 30 seconds left in the second quarter to make it 21-13 after Nelson Aguilar actually caught a pass, guys, and it got a touchdown. So,
man, Randy probably had Aguilar starting, didn't you, somewhere on one of your fantasy teams? I know I did.
We don't talk about We don't talk about fantasy football anymore. It's been a season.
Yeah.
But no, what have I said the last 2 years I've been with you guys on this podcast? Home team on Thursday night. I thought that the Giants could be able to overcome it because they were the superior team. But you saw there in the first quarter that, the Eagles had a game plan. They executed it. The Giants made a mistake, and they could never come back. They were unable to finish drives. I think they went far too heavy on the pass. I mean, because, listen, the Giants have had no running game all year. They were actually able to run the ball. They're averaging over 4.5 yards a carry against the Eagles. They just never did it. Eli Manning threw 63 times in this game. And to me, that's just a disaster waiting to happen, and that's what you saw. He throws the 3 interceptions. He throws the one, obviously, for the pick six. He throws the one in the final drive where he gets hit low, and it just kind of kills the ball, and it floats up there and gets intercepted. But I just think that the Giants didn't quite run the game plan as we would have expected them to. They made too many mistakes. They tried to come back as best they could. They just could not finish drives. And welcome to Thursday night on a road game, man.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right about that. And, it's been interesting for me for a while now because, you see the weapons that these Giants have. They have one of the best receivers in football. I mean, I know some people argue the best. I still have Antonio Brown as my number one, but Odell is a definite number two for me. And I look at the fact that, Eli Manning is a Super Bowl quarterback. I know I'm not a huge fan of him, but I have to admit this guy has come up big, and especially when it comes to playoff time. And then you got some other pieces on this offense that aren't too bad. And they still hit brick walls. They still find ways not to do a lot of scoring, whereas in the beginning of the season, I remember us talking about this receiving core and how the Giants were going to be a really good offensive team, probably a good defensive team as well, with that $200 million defense. It's just amazing to me the way this has all turned out, where that offense is stalled and just found ways to hit brick walls. So this game is kind of indicative of what we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's so much they hit a brick wall as in, like Randy mentioned, you make the mistake like Eli does, and this has been a problem for Eli, all season of, he's gonna give it up, and one of these times you're not going to make the comeback, and that's gonna happen. And they got burned in this one. You can't throw an interception. I mean, yeah, it's always better if you throw it early than late, but you can't beat them with interceptions like that. And then your team not respond afterwards. And so, the Giants, like as mentioned, they still have, it's not in their hands anymore. They have to hope for a Green Bay Packers loss, a Tampa Bay Buccaneers loss, and then they also have to beat Washington, which is not a guarantee either. That being a divisional game on the last game of the season. So we shall see what is going to happen here for the Giants. But we shift our focus a little bit here before we get back into NFL Week 16. That was the start of it. To kind of begin NFL Week 16 before they had the game, they had the 2017 Pro Bowl announcements. But before they announced the players, I think Joe. I'm sure. I don't know if Joe Thomas was joking or if he was being serious, but Joe Thomas said that maybe they should have beach ball. as one of the things that you do at the Pro Bowl to try to bring people back. So.
Does he not remember Robert Edwards? The guy that was in the flag football game in the sand, and he tore his ACL and never played a down of football again at the Pro Bowl?
That's why you shouldn't be playing anything in the sand. Seriously. You can't find a field to go play flag football.
How do you feel about that, Randy? I mean, I think it's fun entertainment, and I get it, but I do think about those situations of these guys are, sure they're entertaining us, but on the other hand, there are situations where they could get injured, and I don't know. I don't even know if I want to send some of my star players off to do this and then get injured and then risk making a mini camp or even making training camp if they have a serious injury.
Well, I'd much rather them play volleyball or dodgeball and all that stuff than watch a Pro Bowl game. And just as likely to be injured there. The NFL at least is trying to find ways for people to watch this Pro Bowl weekend. And I like that they're bringing back the skills competitions and things like that. Nobody cares about a Pro Bowl game. It's after the season. Just let them get together and goof around and come up with goofy events. If you want to go with ones that are less likely to get you injured, that's fine. But I would rather see them do goofy events. Like, let's do a beanbag race or a potato sack race or things like that. Let's just get completely goofy with it and have a good time. Then watch a
just have
stupid
your
Pro Bowl.
typical field day.
Yeah, why not? It's better than here. Let's announce all the Pro Bowl players that are going to originally be in the game, and then when we talk about the game in a couple months, 80% of those players will not be at the game, and we're going to be talking about Carson Wentz as a Pro Bowler.
I know that's the thing too. Like, I think that's so stupid that you can sit there and name a Pro Bowl team, and then half those guys don't play, and then you name a whole nother Pro Bowl team and they're all Pro Bowlers. Like, no, you can't, that's stupid. Like, that should just not be allowed to happen. Like, I understand, okay, the two teams are in the Super Bowl. Okay, that's fine. That's something that we all understood once they moved it to the week in the middle between the last playoff game at the Super Bowl. But no, like, you can't have half the people call off and go, oh, well, then all these other people are Pro Bowlers too. Like, isn't the point of the Pro Bowl is so you can name that team and that's your Pro Bowl team? I hate that. I just really do. Like you said, Randy, it's like we've had years where we're talking about like the 5th or 6th quarterback being the Pro Bowl. It's like, you're the 5th or 6th alternate for that reason. You're not supposed to be in the Pro Bowl. I shouldn't.
It's no longer the Pro Bowl. It's the Participation Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree.
Just don't have it then.
Exactly. Have the fun events. The fun events. I'm going to watch.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, okay, whoever decides they don't even want to go for the fun events, those guys are not Pro Bowlers. They're just there to take their spot. But they shouldn't be called Pro Bowlers. To me, that's my thought on it. You name the Pro Bowl team. If they decide that they don't want to show up for the skills competitions and whatever else, it doesn't mean that the person that you have take their spot becomes a Pro Bowler. It just means that they took the spot.
Yeah, I agree. And, a lot of times people associate Pro Bowl as in, quality of the player. And that's fine because I get it. Obviously that person was popular enough to be voted on by a high number of people.
But they get bonuses on that. So,
yeah,
in a way, it is supposed to be seen as quality of the player.
But yeah, that's fine. But that's that's for their pocketbook. But I'm talking about just in general for the people out there just watching the game, and of course, status. How many Pro Bowls does this guy have? Is he worth going to the Hall of Fame? Those kind of discussions, and I look at it, and I think All Pro means more than the Pro Bowl because, really, honestly, that doesn't change. Whereas Pro Bowl, you can have a guy like you said, Sean, could be the sixth quarterback they chose, and he's a rookie or whoever they decided to pick, and honestly didn't deserve it. He wasn't voted on the most. So, I don't know.
Didn't Jameis Winston almost go last year? Because they had so many freaking alternates, or it was like, wow, we're down to that number. All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's get on to this here. You have the Oakland Raiders with the most for one team, which is 7. And this is in the AFC. So you have Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, Khalil Mack, Rodney Hudson, Reggie Nelson, Kalichi Osemele, and Donald Penn. The last couple guys being on the offensive line. You have the Falcons having an NFC leading 6 players with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and Devontae Freeman included in there. But let's go through this with the actual roster. I'm going to stop reading the little things the NFL likes to just throw out there. It's big deals. AFC is Antonio Brown, Amari Cooper, AJ Green, and T.Y. Hilton, your receivers. You have some interesting things here. Some nice, I guess, variety on offensive line. Marshall Yonder for the Ravens, Joe Thomas for the Browns, Taylor Lewan for the Titans, Delaney Walker also there as the second tight end, representing the Titans with Travis Kelce. Your quarterbacks are Tom Brady, Derek Carr, and Ben Roethlisberger. Le'Veon Bell, DeMarco Murray, LaShawn McCoy, Kyle Juszczyk of the Ravens, fullback, probably because he's like one of the few fullbacks that actually still exist. And the defensive guys are Brian Arakpo for the Titans, Lorenzo Alexander had the incredible year for the Bills, Jarrell Casey for the Titans, which is interesting. Jadeveon Clowney making the Pro Bowl. That's an improvement for him. Cameron Wake, after getting hurt last year, he is in as well. Aqib Talib, Chris Harris, C.J. Mosley, Devin McCourty for the Patriots in there, Eric Berry. And Tyreek Hill is your return specialist. That didn't surprise anybody. So, yeah, there's your AFC Pro Bowl roster. I think they pretty much got everybody. I can't really think of someone that just got totally snubbed here.
Yeah, I think everybody, for the most part, sounds about right. It's surprising that King, I think his name is Sean King, I can't remember his name, the one that played the punter for the Raiders, I know his last name is King.
Marquette King.
He's Marquette King. He's been a guy that has been really popular this year. Got a lot of eyes on him. A little surprised he wasn't amongst all those, leaders when it comes to the Raiders team. But I just, I think for the most part, the AFC got it right.
Anything for you, Randy?
No, I'm just as quiet as the Jets Pro Bowlers are.
Oh. Man, you pointed it out. That's not good.
So Todd Bowles says if we see Christian Hackerberg, there's a problem with the Jets. Do you agree with that?
Well, yeah. He was brought in to be redshirted. If he's playing, then everyone else got hurt. So, and that wouldn't surprise me the way
I know,
the
but
Jets
why are you throwing Ryan Fitzpatrick out there? You know he's not coming back. If Bryce Petty gets hurt or whatever, why not just throw Christian Hackenberg out there? Who cares?
Because you can kill a career that way. He goes out there and throws 4 interceptions. The fans will turn on him. It's New York. That's what they're going to do. They're going to go, oh, he's terrible, and then they're going to watch someone else.
Week 16 game that doesn't matter?
It's this depends on the fan base. Peyton Manning sucked his entire rookie year, but it was in Indy. Nobody cared. This is in New York. It's like Philadelphia. If you suck, you're going to hear it, and it's going to get in your head. Mark Sanchez was fine. He had a couple bad games, and all of a sudden he couldn't throw anymore, and his career completely died. That's what could happen with Hackenberg. So obviously they brought him in knowing that he had a lot of work to do, and they're going to make sure he gets that work before they throw him to the Wolves.
Anything, Gary?
No, I mean, I agree. Looking at that situation, I mean, it's one. I know you want to say, well, let's get this guy some experience, but until he really gets his feet under him, until he really understands what he's getting into, which, yes, I understand he's had a year, but it's not complete yet, and you don't want to showcase him until you really feel like you're ready, and you don't want to hike him out. It's just, this is not the time. This is not the group of guys you want around him before you get him going. So I think they'll wait.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think definitely he's, you don't want him out there unless he has to be, but I would still make the case that if you're not bringing Ryan Fitzpatrick back, and let's say Bryce Petty is the one that goes out there and just sucks it up really bad, I mean, what does it hurt at that point? So the NFC Pro Bowl roster, Julio Jones, Odell Beckham, Mike Evans, Larry Fitzgerald, we kind of knew those guys were going to be there. Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Travis Frederick for the Cowboys offensive line. Trent Williams, Jason Peters, Redskins and Eagles. And TJ Lang for the Packers, Alex Mack for the Falcons. Greg Olsen, Jordan Reed is tight ends, Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers, and Dak Prescott as your quarterbacks, Ezekiel Elliott, David Johnson, and Devontae Freeman. Mike Tolbert as, again, one of the only fullbacks around. Totally happy that Everson Griffin got on here for the Vikings. He's been awesome this year. Cliff Averill, Michael Bennett. Both Seahawks, Aaron Donald, Gerald McCoy, and Fletcher Cox. Vic Beasley, Ryan Kerrigan, Thomas Davis, Bobby Wagner, Luke Kuechly, Janoris Jenkins, Patrick Peterson, Richard Sherman and Xavier Rhodes, Harrison Smith, Clinton Dix, Landon Collins, Cordell Patterson, your return specialist, and Dwayne Harris, your special teamer. So Dwayne Harris showing up there for the Giants. I heard a lot of people complaining about Drew Brees should have been here instead of I guess Aaron Rodgers, because Matt Ryan, Dak Prescott.
What? Stop it.
I'm trying to make
Cowboys
a point.
Fan.
What?
Stop it, Cowboys fan.
Oh wait, so the team that's 12-2, you shouldn't have Dak Prescott there? No, that's wrong. That's what you always do. You're gonna break it all of a sudden for not? No.
He's really the third best quarterback in the NFC this year?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, what? Oh, so yeah, the Saints are doing what now?
This is about the quarterback position. If you took Dak Prescott and put him
all
on
of
New
those
Orleans,
teams that are here, they're winning. All the quarterbacks that are here, they're winning. Drew Brees is not winning this year. It doesn't matter what his stats are.
Take Dak Prescott and put him on the Saints. Put Drew Brees on the Cowboys. Does Dak Prescott make the Pro Bowl? No, because he's going to be worse in New Orleans.
Well,
plain and simple. I would put Drew Brees ahead of Dak Prescott. I would put Matthew Stafford ahead of Dak Prescott. I would put Kirk Cousins ahead of Dak Prescott. Prescott does not belong there.
I wouldn't put Kirk Cousins in front of Dak Prescott. I'll give you Matthew Stafford. Just because you put up a bunch of yards doesn't mean you're a better quarterback than Dak Prescott.
I'd put Matt Ryan ahead of him.
Matt Ryan is there, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, all of these quarterbacks. But you're like, oh, Aaron Rodgers.
But Aaron Rodgers had a period where he wasn't consistent and wasn't good this year. That's why I was making the point that I guess for Aaron Rodgers, what they're complaining that Drew Brees should be there in there for. Because, I mean, Matt Ryan's been consistent the whole year. yes, Dak has been putting up the numbers, but his team is winning.
You mean he hasn't been putting up the numbers?
Yeah, but I mean, why is this all about numbers? It's about
That's what the Pro Bowl's about. It's individual awards. It's individual performances. You're saying that a quarterback...
Not everybody that gets in the Pro Bowl, it's about like, oh my God, they freaking had a million zillion yards. Not all the time. At least for the quarterback, it's a lot of times it's been, well, it doesn't matter if you have a quarterback from a team that puts up a zillion yards. If the team is losing, they're not going to put him in.
Still, he's nowhere near the third best quarterback in the NFC by far. Dak Prescott has been great. He has been a fabulous rookie. He is second for Rookie of the Year. No doubt about it. Get out of here that he's a great quarterback already, like ahead of some of the names I've already said. Get out of here with that.
You know, looking at it, it is interesting how they do the voting. And, you know, we already knew 1 and 2 in all of Pro Bowl voting was Dak and Zeke. And I get it. They're popular, you know, and they're also, it's kind of funny too, they're popular with not Cowboy fans. Like guys and gals who could care less about that star love Dak and Zeke.
It's a great story.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing too, like you sit here and complain about we got to remember all these All-Star games are popularity contests.
Yeah, but you know,
but this isn't voted on by the fan. It is, isn't it? I don't remember.
Only at their
part of it is. Part of it,
yeah.
And this is why my question comes about, because of Randy's point and your point, Sean. That popularity contest was a third of this vote, and that was amongst the fans. Now the other third is the players, and the other third is the coaches.
Right, but at least we're not talking about the Cowboys are 4-12 and Dak Prescott's in here.
No,
a team that's winning.
It honestly doesn't matter because Dak Prescott's not going to play in the Pro Bowl anyways.
Oh,
wow!
I hope you're right about that.
Yeah.
But, if they don't make the Super Bowl, he is going to play.
Yeah.
I think if they make the NFC Championship game, he's not going to play.
You know, the strong point, though, for me here is the fact that it took the coaches and the players to vote Dak Prescott in, and it has nothing to do with the Haiti great year. It's much an interest to me that many coaches and that many players said yes, that we want Dak Prescott to represent this NFC. So I don't know. I think he's had a good year. He hasn't had a great year. It's not been numbers-wise.
That's my point.
Yeah, and I understand, and I don't really disagree. I really don't. To me, the Pro Bowl is not a big deal. It's fun. It's dandy. But at the end of the day, if you're really excited about your team being in the Pro Bowl, probably means your team's not in the playoffs. So, I don't know. I just look at this as, sure, Dak has had a good year. And if you want to put him in, that's fine. But when you start talking about the actual numbers and all that, then you have a good argument.
I'll just say this way, and yes, this is mostly a joke, but can you really make the Pro Bowl if your own owner doesn't even want you as your starting quarterback?
Yeah, I don't. Here's the thing about the whole Jerry thing, and I got biased.
So when has Jerry said that? He's just said that he's not going to tell Romo, no, you're not playing, because talk about motivation for a second. You're telling this guy that went out and did a speech and went ahead and gave Dak Prescott the job and said, look, I'm not fighting for this. What if your owner comes and goes, dude, shut it down. Like, don't even try. You're not playing. Like, I mean, so if Dak goes in and gets hurt, Romo's going to have a totally different mindset than if you'd been talking him up this whole time. And, that Eagles game is sitting there right now. If now it doesn't matter at all. What if they decided, Romo's playing that entire game? Probably not. Probably it's more like the second half of it. But still.
If they put Tony Romo in at all in Week 17, Dallas is the dumbest team in the NFL, period.
Why? You want him to have experience playing, and if he gets hurt, then that means he was frail and shouldn't be playing.
Yeah, and now you are out. You can't trade an injured player. So Romo gets hurt, you're stuck with his contract. You can't trade him away.
Well, they can release him, which is what he wants anyway.
But you're still stuck with that salary cap hit.
Yeah, okay.
You're stuck with a salary cap hit, period.
Not if you trade him away.
If you still
they're not going to take
million.
his whole contract. I'll tell you that right now. The Cowboys will have to take something of it.
Well, the Cowboys would have to trade him after June 1st to not take a big hit, and that's not going to happen because no team's going to say, hey, we'll wait till close to training camp to take our quarterback now. They'll want their quarterback in mini camps and all that, too. So,
I mean,
but,
yeah, especially if he's having to learn a new offense and everything. But
yeah,
Romo's been there long enough; he doesn't have to be.
Yeah, but here's the bottom line, and this is the way. Jerry Jones, I get the national perspective on Jerry Jones and say he loves Romo and that he's going to put Romo in the playoffs, and Dak's going to go sit down after that. Now, Jerry Jones is a businessman, and I really feel like the only reason that Romo's not playing is because Jerry knows his future, and he knows that if Romo's got 2 years best, even though he's lying to everybody else and telling them a long 6 years or whatever, he knows, and the coaches know, and the medical staff knows 2 years is the best that this kid's got. Dak Prescott's the future. They've got to stick with it, because if they take that away from Dak, they take his confidence too. They take a lot away from a kid who showed up and said, hey, I'm putting this team on my back.
Well,
and
not only that, look at that team right now. I don't care if Tony Romo's been there for whatever. There's some of these players that haven't, that are rallying around Dak, and they're not the veterans. They're not going to just be okay with this. You're going to divide that locker room, and that matters, especially when we're talking about week 16, week 17. Everybody's going to understand, I think, if Tony comes in, whether he comes in or not, for that halftime or not. And for one, if you want to, we're going to start Mark Sanchez, even though he's not the backup quarterback.
Absolutely.
No.
What? The game doesn't matter.
Tony Romo needs to play before you get to the playoffs.
Let me say this, though. Let me tell you this.
Because he could be rusty, and if Dak's hurt, then he comes out and he just throws a terrible game because it's the first time he's playing in 2 years.
So you don't bench a starting quarterback in week 17 because you need the backup.
He's not benching him. He needs to rest.
No, but that's what you're saying. Listen, people like the Patriots are going to sit Tom Brady to make sure he doesn't get hurt, not to make sure that Jimmy Garoppolo gets work just in case Tom Brady gets hurt.
Well, no, but yeah, it's for Dak
Tony
to get.
Romo, you make sure he does not get hurt. You play Sanchez week 17 because it means nothing. You have everything locked up. So play the quarterback.
Hold on. If he's actually a good player, hold on. So if Romo goes and lights it up, doesn't that help you when you go trade him? That he can still play? Yes. You get a bigger draft pick.
Dak Prescott lost one game, and all you saw all over social media, all over ESPN, all over Fox, all over CBS would they have won with Tony Romo? Okay, so
and that's the fans. Did the team do anything about it? No. That's what matters. Who cares what the fans say?
Who cares what the fans say? So, Mark Sanchez. Okay, let's go right back to this old argument. Mark Sanchez, who was part of a team that made back-to-back AFC Championship games, started to hear the fans want Tim Tebow and fell apart. Now, hopefully, the mindset of Dak Prescott is way stronger than Mark Sanchez. But if Tony Romo goes out there and throws 350 yards and 4 touchdowns against the Eagles in a meaningless Week 17 game, and the fans start going, oh, we have a much better chance to win the Super Bowl with Tony Romo, Dak Prescott's not going to hear any of that?
Oh, well, he wasn't hearing that during the Tampa Bay game, and what did he do? That's right. That's right. He went out, and he had one of his best games of the season. All I'm saying is
he was dumped down central and never threw a touchdown.
And who cares? 32 and 36 is nothing to snuff at.
Well, yeah.
And
here's
number one. I don't care what they do as long as the team doesn't go, oh yeah, we're totally cool with Romo starting the first week of the playoff. If they do that, you know what? I want whoever team plays them, I want them to go out and blow the Cowboys out because they deserve it. If the Garrett and Jerry Jones are that stupid because Romo lit it up. Okay, well that's what I'm saying. Dak Prescott has shown that he is extremely confident in himself. Everybody knows that the Eagles don't give a shit. For one, we got to remember, what if Dak Prescott goes out there and the Cowboys go out there and they're winning like 24-0? Okay? It's really not going to matter what Tony Romo does in that second half. And if there are stupid fans that think that, because he blew out an Eagles team that's already checked out, that's what's going to happen against whatever team they play in the divisional round of the playoffs, they're idiots, and you don't need to listen to them. I'm not saying that every New York Jet fan that was cheering for TiVo was stupid, but, it's different. I think if Dak had another game that was as bad as the Giants game, I personally wouldn't have had a problem with it. I personally wouldn't have said anything about starting Romo, but I wouldn't have blamed people if they would have had the alarm sounding louder, because even people that are on the Cowboys media and everything else that examine this team day by day, that have podcasts that Gary and I both listen to, said you kind of have to start considering it if Dak had a terrible game against the Bucs, just because this game, this is the end of the season, and you got to make sure you lock up the division and all that stuff. But that was a different story that we didn't have to talk about because the team won and performed well. I'm just making a point.
I get your point, and here's the thing: at the end of the day, Romo playing it sounds fine and dandy, and him going out and blowing out the Philadelphia, it's not going to change anything. All it's going to say is, well, at least this team's safe if something happens to Prescott. I have a feeling that Prescott's going to play in part of that Philadelphia game. If they put Romo out there, great. If they don't, they play Sanchez, it's just as great, because one hit could take your backup quarterback away from you, and then you go and you play who you play in a divisional round, and one hit takes out your other quarterback. Then guess who's your starting quarterback, and that's Sanchez. I would rather Sanchez. Yeah, exactly. I would rather Sanchez take that big hit against Philadelphia rather than Tony Romo. I want Romo saved until we get to whoever you're going to play. Let's say the Falcons in the divisional round, or the conference championship game, Seattle, whoever you're playing. I want to play Romo against that team. I don't want to play him against a team that doesn't mean anything.
I think that's shitty to Romo if you're not.
But Romo, it's already that way for him right now.
I know, but I'm just saying he is telling him he's the backup. Okay, so you're putting Dak Prescott out because you want him to not accidentally get hurt in the second half or whatever. Who you play your number two? That is Tony Romo. You don't tell the guy, oh, hey, we're going to play Mark Sanchez because we don't want you to get hurt either, but you may never play again for us. But you have this one opportunity that you should play, but you're not going to. I just think
Tony Romo really cares about playing the second half about Week 17 against the Eagles game that doesn't matter. I bet if you asked him and he answered honestly, he would rather go, I would rather not play and not get hurt and then get traded to a team than go out there and get hurt and end my entire career. But this is just the funny thing about this conversation, and I will admit it's retarded, but that's where this whole scenario has come to, and because it's Dallas, that we're worried about the psyche of a backup quarterback. And how he's going to feel But we have to make sure he gets work because our quarterback, who, could get hurt, we have to make sure our backup's good. But this one guy who we talked about maybe benching if he struggled against Tampa Bay, that's a Pro Bowler.
Hey.
Yeah.
This whole conversation's hilarious, and I love it, and I love you guys, and it's really fun. It's really interesting. But honestly, if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I played Dak Prescott this week, obviously against Detroit, just because he's been game planning the whole time. Why not just play it out? And week 17, I'm playing Mark Sanchez because you know what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And it just here's the thing about the whole thing, and I get it is hilarious. Just when you actually put it in layman's terms like that, Randy, it really is. But, my thought process, once again, I'm a huge Tony Romo fan. I have been for a long time. Anybody listening who hates the Cowboys is laughing in my face. I get it. That's fine. This kid has been around for a lot of time with me. And I look at Romo and say, I want you to go be like DeMarcus Ware. I want you to have that opportunity that you couldn't have here. And my fear is that he goes and plays against Philadelphia and gets hit. And yes, I know we're afraid of it's a backup quarterback, but that could end his career. And if I'm any team in this league, I'm not trading for a quarterback that played in every game and then got hurt and couldn't get up off the field. I am not touching that guy. I don't even know if I want him on my third string quarterback list. So that's my fear. I don't want him to be in that situation. I would rather him have that problem in his playoffs than have it in a meaningless game. That's just me, though. Romo is not worried about it. Trust me. He's just loving the ride. I guarantee you right now, he's just loving the fact that he has the opportunity that he could be playing in Houston. Or not playing, but at least, have the opportunity to be there. So,
I'm sorry. I'm just reading these idiot Eagles fans that go, oh, Dak sucks because he can't beat the Giants. The Eagles can't beat half the NFL, but Carson Wentz is better. Shut your mouths, Eagles fans. Just shut your mouth.
Well, I look at them and I want to ask them: did they win the AFC North? We did. I'm just saying, and we're probably going to win the NFC North too.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. They almost beat the Ravens. To be fair, I think the only team they outright lost to was the Bengals. Beat them pretty bad, right?
Now we destroyed them, so let's talk about records.
No, I'm just saying, like they whooped the Steelers, we didn't, but they barely beat the Ravens. We beat them pretty. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm just curious since we went completely off the rails. We were talking about the Pro Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Anymore. But you brought up
holy
an interesting
crap!
point.
We've been 45 minutes in this show and we haven't even talked about that.
That's fine. I think this is way more entertaining than who cares about the Patriots are going to destroy my Jets. We don't need to talk about it. But take it as take your Cowboy fandom away and your love for Prescott. You were talking about, Carson Wentz is better than Dak Prescott according to Eagles fans. If you switch the roles and you put Carson Wentz on this Cowboys team with that offensive line, with Ezekiel Elliott behind him and actual wide receivers, how do you think he would have done this year? Not to say that he is better than Prescott and the only reason he's struggling is because he has worse weapons. I think Prescott's been playing great. I just argue that he is not a Pro Bowler this season. He's going to be a Pro Bowler many times over. But my question is, what do you think Wentz would have been able to do with the weapons that Dallas has this year?
I don't think it's just the weapons. I think it's the coaching. I think it's everything. The Eagles coaches apparently are not as good because Doug Peterson keeps making stupid coaching mistakes constantly in games that Jason Garrett doesn't make. And I'd much rather have Scott Linehan or, as my offensive coordinator than the guy they have with the Eagles. You totally take in the talent perspective of having like a Dez and a Terrence Williams and a Cole Beasley, and I'd argue that their tight ends are fine, but obviously having Ryan Matthews has been great for them when he plays, so I don't think he's the problem. It's just he's hurt half the time. But, yeah, having that offensive line, anybody is going to do much better. I don't know that you do like a zillion times better because, again, we saw it last year, right? It's about talent, and that talent supersedes sometimes your offensive line as far as, like, I think McFadden is back there this year. I don't think he's there's no way he's having those numbers that Zeke has. Zeke has those numbers because he's Zeke at the end of the day with the offensive line and with Dak back there and everything else. I think obviously they have a winning record. I think he has some pretty good numbers. He has pretty good numbers now. He has much better numbers, but I don't know. I think it's all about that's really hard to say that how well does he do. I don't know that the Cowboys are 12-2 with Carson Wentz.
I don't know. I mean, I would not doubt it. And I love Prescott. I mean, Prescott has been my guy. We all know this. If you've listened to the games that we've covered in college before we even got to this season and the draft of the NFL, I've been a huge Prescott nut. And so, sure, I'm biased on that. But I will say this. Carson Wentz is a great quarterback. I would even say Jared Goff would have an opportunity to step into the Dallas lineup and have some success. Now, is it the success I think Carson Wentz would have? I think Carson Wentz would kind of blow him out of the water. Jared Goff would probably not have as much success. Jared Goff would probably get the Cowboys to 9-7 or something like that. But Carson Wentz, the way he plays, he's very intelligent. He's a smart quarterback, and I think the mistakes he's had has been because, the talent level around him has kind of affected him as well. So, I don't know. I think Carson Wentz could step in here and do just as well as Dak. I don't know if Jared Goff could, though.
I think the mistakes are still there. You can be as smart as you want to. Doesn't mean that when you throw, those interceptions still don't happen. To me, what matters is that Dak takes care of the ball.
Well, you put Dak on the Philadelphia Eagles, and he's getting rushed more than what,
I'm sure. Yeah, but again, like, we're talking, there's so many factors here. It's not just about the talent on the field. That's so hard to like. He would have been doing just fine, obviously. I still don't know. It's so many different intangibles, right? Like, that's one of those really hard things to determine.
Mm-hmm.
I just think, like, the camaraderie. Last year, there's no way, like, Zeke and like, I don't know. Like, I just think it's just different thing. Like, Zeke and Dak throwing candy at each other. Like, it's a different deal than I think if you have other guys there. You don't know what their personalities are,
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I think before we get into, since we already had a long period where we didn't talk about these games that are happening on Saturday and Sunday and Monday, let's get into some more college bowl games here. So far, I did okay except for Idaho beating Colorado State there today.
Where was the defense in that game?
No, there was not.
Good grief.
61-50, guys.
Poof.
So at BYU with an incredible holding off the Wyoming, which was pretty fun.
Oh, they try. Boy, did they try to give that game away.
So let's get into this. On Christmas Eve, Middle Tennessee against Hawaii.
I think I chose Hawaii in that one just for fun.
It is in Hawaii, to be fair.
Yeah. So
I still think Middle Tennessee goes out and beats them.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you never know what kids are going to do traveling to Hawaii, and the home field definitely is going to help the Warriors, but I think Middle Tennessee is just the better team.
All right, so moving on from here, we got Miami of Ohio and Mississippi State. It's in Florida. I'm going to go with Mississippi State.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning as well.
I just looking at the Miami schedule, I don't know if I've ever seen a team do what they did this year. They lost their first six. They've lost their first 6 games.
Oh wow!
And then won their last 6 to make a bowl game. None of them really looked that convincing, though. I just don't see it. Give me Mississippi State.
Maryland and Boston College, 2 6-6 teams at Ford Field in Detroit.
Give me Boston College. Maryland completely fell apart at the end of this season. They get into a bowl game because of their Rutgers win at the end, but they were just nothing near the end. Give me the Eagles.
Yeah, give me Boston.
Boston College. NC State, who had some interesting games this year against Vanderbilt, also 6-6, in Shreveport, Louisiana.
I'm going NC State on that one.
I'm actually going to go Vanderbilt. I like the way they were playing at the end. I watched some of that game where they beat up on Tennessee, also beating Ole Miss right there at the end. They gave Auburn all that they could handle about a month ago. I actually like the Commodores in this game.
I was going to go Vanderbilt too. Randy kind of stole my thunder there.
Well, you still can. It's okay. I mean, I know I didn't say Dak Prescott should be a Pro Bowler, but you can agree with me. That's okay.
If we agreed about everything, the show would be boring. So, I got to say that between last week and this week, I think probably one of the 2 most entertaining weeks of shows we've had. They went really long, but hey, we had stuff to talk about. Okay, Gary. Let's go ahead and do Tuesday, because by the time we come out on Monday, it's like Tuesday morning early. So, North Texas in the heart of Dallas Bowl against Army at the Cotton Bowl. Now, North Texas is not like, the darling of Texas where we're going to have just a ton of people coming out to support North Texas or anything. Army getting that surprising win against Navy at the end makes you think that Army's going to take this one, and I don't know, that's even going to be close.
I should get tickets and go to this game, but I'm not. North Texas is not going to win this game. They just had one of the running backs suspended because of the fact they couldn't, do well in academics. So, yeah, it's terrible. So yeah, Army for sure. I would love to say North Texas, but I can't do it.
What? Why not North Texas? Other than maybe the running back goes, they beat Army this year.
Yeah, that's true.
It's one of the weird times where
twice though. That's hard.
The only thing that makes me lean towards North Texas, and I know it would be an upset, is the fact that Army basically played their bowl game. Beating Navy, I think that was it for them. I do think they have more talent than North Texas. I don't like how North Texas ended the year, but they went to Army and beat them pretty handedly, and I think Army is not going to take this game as seriously as they took the Navy game. I'm actually going to take North Texas in this game.
Oh, wow.
All right. Fair enough.
Go Mean Green.
And why not? I've already lost $1 million because of terrible coaching decisions. So.
Great. He's going to bring this up every time.
Oh, poor Randy.
Well, it doesn't matter because I didn't pick Idaho, who I didn't realize were going to just go ballistic. Where I forget what the exact number was, but Colorado State, I think, scored 33 points in the fourth quarter and still weren't even close to making it a game again.
Jeez.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, 36 points in the fourth quarter.
36. There you go.
Yeah. So the American Conference champion Temple against Wake Forest in the Military Bowl in Annapolis. Wake Forest has been really interesting this year, but I feel like I'm still going to take Temple.
Yeah, I got Temple as well.
I'm definitely going to take Temple. I mean, yes, Wake Forest has played a lot tougher competition throughout the year. The Clemson and the Louisvilles and Florida States, but Temple also just destroyed Navy, and they haven't given up more than 10 points, and it seems like forever. I like the Owls.
The controversial bowl, because Minnesota did wind up having their players suspended, the National Funding Holiday Bowl, Minnesota against Washington State. This is a blowout now. Washington State.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me the Cougars.
Yep, Washington State.
And in the Motel 6 Cactus Bowl in Phoenix, Arizona, Boise State taking on Baylor. You know this is going to be, well, I don't know. If Seth Russell says he wants to be a running quarterback again, it might be nothing. But, yeah, give me Boise State. I think Baylor, with all the stuff going on, I think it's going to be distraction central.
Yeah, Boise.
Yeah, Baylor's the anti-Miami of Ohio. They won their first 6 to lose their last 6.
Yeah.
make it 7 straight. I got the Broncos.
Basically, as soon as Baylor started playing really tough competition, they started losing. So, there's Baylor for you. But, all right, so we'll resume with the Wednesday Bowls when we come back on the Monday night show. So let's get into the last thing we got to talk about here, which, of course, Week 16. Good Lord, we already spent an hour on this show. So here we go.
Some of these will be fast, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. The Miami Dolphins taking on the Buffalo Bills, in which, many believe that Rex Ryan could possibly be fighting for his job. It's in Buffalo.
From the sounds of it, he's already lost that fight. You heard the rumors that Tom Coughlin might go to Buffalo instead of Jacksonville?
Well, he'd have a better situation.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that what Rex Ryan kind of was supposed to be? Your tough-nosed defense or tough-nosed... I just think Jacksonville could really benefit from having him more than the Bills, but, it wouldn't be bad for him to go to the Bills. Better talent there.
Yeah, either way, I think the team rallies behind Rex. I know the ownership isn't a big fan of him, but they've been playing pretty hard for Rex, and I've seen this firsthand. When Rex Ryan looks like he might lose his job, the players always seem to rally around him. It happened with the Jets a couple of years. I like Buffalo at home.
Completely agree with you for that reason. Yes, we have seen it many times where Rex Ryan is supposed to, oh my God, he's going to lose his job. He's got to win these games or whatever. Bills are going to win.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on that. It's kind of weird to say, but I think I believe in Tyrod Taylor a little bit more than Matt Moore as well. So there you go.
I think Tyrod Taylor's also got a lot to prove here too.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly for him, but yeah, he does. Yeah, I just think Matt Moore. I don't know that he throws 4 touchdowns again. Not against the Bills defense, I don't think. So we get the New York Jets against the New England Patriots. Look, the Jets have played the Patriots pretty tough last time. I know the Patriots are favored by almost 17 points in this game, but I think it's going to be close again, and I think the Patriots wind up winning. I think, though, the Patriots or is it Tom? I don't know if it's Bill Belichick or Tom Brady or both are undefeated when rookie quarterbacks come into Gillette Stadium.
It doesn't matter. It might be closer than it should be, just because, as you said, that's what this rivalry does. But all I will guarantee is there will be not 1 second where I think the Jets will win this game. Patriots win.
Yeah, I think the Patriots will take care of business here. If it was an upset, it would be a total surprise, and I would be concerned about the Patriots.
Well, speaking of teams that it should be no surprise, the Tennessee Titans better win this game, or if you lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, you don't deserve to get in the playoffs. at this point to me. The Jaguars are 2-12. They just fired their coach. The Titans better go in there and wipe the floor with the Jaguars. I don't care if it's a visual game or not. Like, seriously, there have been other events that are getting bigger crowds than the Jaguars have been getting all year at Everbank Field. Like, there should be more Titans fans at Everbank Field.
Yeah.
Like, the Titans better just win.
I've said it before. I mean, the stands are full of people that are maybe Jacksonville Jaguar fans, and half of them are there for the coupons they get when they buy their season tickets. And so that's a real thing, just by let you know. My sister lives in Jacksonville. It's been offered to her. But anyway, here's the thing. You know, this is going to be a total sad thing if Tennessee can't go take care of business. I think they will. I have faith in their offense. I have faith that they'll find a way to make that happen, even if Jacksonville puts up a fight. Don't think they will, though.
Actually, I think they will. New head coach for now. It's not his first rodeo. He was coach at Buffalo. Driving me nuts that I'm blanking on the name. Yeah. So, I couldn't even think of the name.
The guy that left Buffalo mysteriously?
But still, listen, you know, now that things are kind of cleared out there, I think things go in the right direction. I don't think that all of a sudden they become this great team that I thought they could have been. But this is a home team that has a lot to prove, would love to cost a division rival a playoff spot. We were just talking about how Tyrod Taylor has a lot to prove to keep his job next year. Blake Bortles is in that situation. His GM basically said the next head coach does not have to use Blake Bortles. So I'm picking Tennessee, but I think this is a game that will be far closer than you think.
That's fair. I do want to say that if you're the coach, unless you commit to we're going to work on the dude's mechanics, don't bother. Just go find somebody else at quarterback.
Jay Cutler will be out there.
Oh, God. No. Well, never mind. Besides Jay Cutler. Well, you know what? I think the big deal with Jay Cutler is that a lot of times he gets hurt. But, I mean, when he has talent out there, he's not, like, terrible. I mean, you know, I wonder if Jay Cutler had been healthy if he had this offense. I mean, at least you know Jay Cutler can throw the ball. That's not the problem. Like, Blake Bortles can't even figure out how to throw the ball at this point.
You don't have to talk about it. I already know that as a New York Jets fan, we're going to get stuck with Jay Cutler because wherever Brandon Marshall goes, that's where Jay Cutler ends up.
Oh, my God. I can imagine the meltdown Brandon Marshall's going to have.
Just do yourselves a favor. Take all the mirrors out of the locker room so Cutler doesn't get stuck in there looking at himself, thinking he's so great.
Dude. I don't understand with Jay Cutler, man. Like, that guy.
All right.
So weird. Anyway, so Vikings and Packers at Lambeau Field. We don't even know if Adrian Peterson's going to play after he miraculously played last week. The Packers have to win their last two games, so this is a must-win situation for the Packers. The Vikings have been disintegrating, basically. This is a divisional game. This is going to be close. I still think I got to take the Packers at home, though.
Well, don't discredit the Vikings. They have to win their last two games as well.
I don't want to discredit them, but come on. Like, you know.
No, I agree. But it's not going to be a blowout like what Indianapolis did to them. But I like the Packers in this game.
You know what? I'm going to go against you guys on this one. I think the Vikings can pull it out. I understand the hype. I get it. That, you know, Aaron Rodgers is playing well again. It wasn't long ago when they weren't playing well. And I could see a situation where this Minnesota defense wants retribution for the disaster that happened last week. They come out, they play a tough game. They make life hard on Aaron Rodgers. and they just find a way to kick them field goals all day long until they find a way to win. And I could see, them doing that.
I just don't see it just because obviously, I think, is it? No, yeah, it would still be in play even if the Lions beat the Cowboys on Monday. You want to win that division. You don't want to be the 6th seed. And, I don't know. Obviously Aaron Rodgers is confident in himself enough to be able to feel like he could be the 6th seed and make that run like they did when they won the Super Bowl last time. But you'd much rather win the division. I think there's just so much on the line here for the Packers. I don't see them letting them slip away. This is another one of these, especially if Melvin Gordon doesn't play. The Chargers always find ways to lose games, guys. Could this be the game? Could this be the game the Browns elude the 0-15?
Well, my question to you is RG3 the starting quarterback of this game?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh my God!
Continue
Why?
to lose.
You've had 2 weeks for this guy to prove that Kessler has played better than Griffin. Like, let Cody Kessler just play out the season. Are you really going to bring RG3 back next year? No, or you shouldn't. So let the guy that's going to actually be the quarterback for your team play. Unless you're doing the baseball thing and shutting him down so he doesn't get hurt again. I don't know, but yeah, with what Gary said, with RG3 at quarterback, yeah, Chargers win.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers as well. Yes, they find ways to lose. Not this one. But it's not because of RG3, it's because of the Cleveland defense.
Fair enough. The Washington Redskins battling for any playoff chances they have against the frisky Chicago Bears team in Chicago in 36-degree weather with a Matt Barkley who also will put up points. This could be shootout central to watch here.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. I like Matt Barkley as the quarterback of Chicago. I hope he keeps the job, but Washington needs it more. They had a terrible game on Monday night. Chicago is sneaky here, and it's going to be close, especially because it doesn't look like Jordan Reed's going to play. But give me the Redskins.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think the Redskins will, find a way to win this game. They had a, disappointing loss against Carolina last week, so I feel like they'll bounce back.
I want to point this out again that the only 3 games the Bears have won are at home. You know what? Give me the Bears. The implosion for the Redskins continues. Give me the Bears here. Interesting game after the Panthers come off that win from Monday night against the Atlanta Falcons. Is Julio Jones, I think, is still up in the air?
It looks like he's going to play.
Okay. He is going to. I think this will be a close game in Charlotte. Falcons obviously still battling for, if they could wind up with that number 2 spot. Give me the Falcons here.
Yeah, I got the Falcons, no doubt.
No doubt for me. Last time they played was the 300-yard game by Julio Jones. The Panthers will not allow that to happen again. The Panthers showed on Monday that they have a lot of pride still, even though the season is completely imploded. And again, a division rival, Carolina, at home. Yes, Atlanta has looked like world beaters the last 2 weeks. Oh, by the way, the Rams and 49ers were the opponents. I think they're overrated, and I'm taking Carolina here.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah, this is a show-me game, I think, for the Falcons here, playing divisional opponent. Indianapolis Colts, again, playing for their playoff lives against Oakland Raiders team that is now in contention for that number 1 seed and everything. So Oakland definitely has things to play for here. It is at home where they haven't played the best football at times. I think this could be a really interesting game. Shootout again. But give me the Raiders.
Yeah, give me the Raiders too. I really feel like that they're going to come out swinging.
So much of me wants to take the Colts on the road to pull the upset. I just can't do it. Give me Oakland.
Now we're looking at another divisional game that has a lot of implications here. The Giants want the Saints to win. I'm sure the Packers would love for the Saints to win as well. It is in New Orleans where the Saints play much better. Give me the Saints here.
Yeah, I'm with you with that same kind of hesitation. I think anybody that is in the playoffs right now is hoping that New Orleans wins this game because Tampa Bay is that really scary team to me. I don't think they could make a Super Bowl run, but they're that team that could beat just about anybody and kill their run. But New Orleans plays so much better at home. Drew Brees kind of got things going last week against Arizona. Tampa Bay kind of slipped up a little bit. So I'm going to take the Saints, and I know most of the rest of the NFC is rooting for that exact result.
You know what? I'm going to go against you guys. Tampa Bay was able to beat the same, Drew Brees and company, and they beat him, with a lot of gusto. And I think that, they're going to return to revenge their loss. I'll go Tampa Bay here.
The Arizona Cardinals against the Seattle Seahawks, two teams that always play each other tough. It's in Seattle this time, though. Seattle knows what lays ahead if they lose again. They are undefeated at home this season. I think they stay that way.
Yeah, it's usually close. It won't be this time. Give me Seattle.
Yeah, I got to go Seattle, too. Home field advantage is too much.
I pity the fool that gets stuck with this 425 game. Go do something else. Go jog.
Sorry. Gary, we need a full report on W2Mnet.com for this next game.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we definitely do. San Francisco 49ers and Los Angeles Rams.
Man.
In Los Angeles, I think, like I said, go enjoy your Christmas Eve. Go do anything but watch this game. Unless for some reason you're in your fantasy playoffs and have Colin Kaepernick or something. Yeah. Oh my God. I don't know. This is, I think the Rams defense will somehow win this for the Rams.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I'm leaning here. Otherwise, Colin Kaepernick, can probably surprise you maybe here or there, but I don't know. I'm going to go Rams. It's just, I'm terrified of this game.
Can I root for the tie? No? Would you go for the Rams?
Another tie, why not?
Whatever. Go for Rams. I don't care.
Your Saturday night game. It's been a playoff matchup for many years. Houston Texans taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Last year featured T.J. Yates coming in and winning the game for the Texans. Now it's Tom Savage, guys. Tom Savage going to be the quarterback. Does he make it 2 wins in a row?
I don't know if this is going to be the wonder years, but I think that he can. I think
God.
Tom Savage can pull it off.
God.
I don't know. I feel too good about the Houston defense compared to from what the Bengals have done. The Bengals they're just not consistent. I'm going Texans.
Go from a Wonder Years reference to I will continue my reference here. The Great Mighty Pooh, was benched for the next boss, which is Booga the Nut. If you've ever played Conqueror's Band for a day. So Tom Savage from now on will be known as Booga the Nut, just for fun. He gets the win because of the defense for Houston. I agree with Gary that Cincinnati's just too inconsistent. I think it's a low scoring, kind of a boring game to watch, but give me Houston.
All that's left is for Gary to make a Quantum Leap reference at some point.
That's your job, Sean.
Well, I'm gonna say the Texas win too. So, well, I love these two games on Christmas. These two games on Christmas are gonna. I mean, you might get some defensive nasty games here, but they mean something, and that's what matters. At the end of the day, that would certainly not be a quantum leap to say that the Pittsburgh Steelers need this game because they win the division if they win. If not, you get into a nasty, you got to watch what the other team's doing. On week 17, the Ravens, of course, want to keep themselves in contention and win in Huntsville, which is a hard thing to do. Give me the Steelers to wrap it up here.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I think the Ravens have, a good defense. I think they could probably give Big Ben some, a run for his money. But I don't know. At the end of the day, I think the Steelers will find a way to ink it out.
Do you think there's going to be mistletoe on the field in this game? No. Okay.
That'd be hilarious.
I think they're going to be kicking that mistletoe into the ground.
Yeah.
Doing.
No, listen, Steelers at home. Obviously, this is going to be a hard-hitting affair. I don't want to see this division be wrapped up already, but it's kind of looking that way. Give me Pittsburgh.
Well, Sunday night game, the final Sunday night game of the season. Denver Broncos going into Arrowhead Stadium to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. I think Kansas City does not want to give Denver life at all here. And not only that, the Chiefs play the Broncos tough always. It's always a freaking battle. I think Kansas City comes out of here winning and puts the Broncos out of their misery.
Don't they usually take one game that has automatic playoff implications and put it as a Sunday night game, week 17? Like, they never schedule one until it comes time, but I just remember
that.
So
yeah, that's right. Well, the last regularly scheduled, I think.
Yes, I agree. But yeah, absolutely, this is going to be a fantastic game again between bitter rivals. Denver to me is just falling off the mountain here. Kansas City had a rough loss last week, but they're going to bounce back here. Give me Kansas City.
You know what? I think Kansas City is going to be the team to win here because of the fact that I think that the Denver Broncos are not the same Denver Broncos, and I don't know if they can handle what Kansas City has been doing to them, and that's pretty much coming in there and stepping up to them and saying, we'll fight you strength for strength. So I think Kansas City's got this one.
And your Monday night game, the final national game for the Cowboys until you get to the playoffs, where everybody's national basically. Cowboys 6-1 at home this year. I think if Matthew Stafford didn't have the thing with the finger, I would be a lot more worried about this game just because you got Matthew Stafford at full strength. Also, the Lions are really one-dimensional. They don't even try to run the ball. They have, I think, the second lowest amount of carries in the entire league this year. Does anybody know if Marvin Jones is okay? Either way, I think it's better because Golden Tate seems to not do that well when Marvin Jones is on the field with him at the same time. I think the Cowboys will wind up winning this game. I hope that the Cowboys also understand you need to make a statement here, and you don't want the Lions to think that they can beat you, especially if they make the playoffs and you might have to play again. I think this is the last playoff team you're playing this year. Come out, play your guys, knock them out. Hey, put up 20-something million points at the beginning, and then you can go, if you want to rest guys in the second half, whatever. But I think you definitely got to play everybody here. It's also a home game. Like, you don't want to just not be playing guys at home.
Yeah, you do what the
Cowboys.
You do what the Cleveland Cavaliers do, and sit all your guys on the road.
Hey, you know what? Cleveland's smart. Look, Greg Popovich did it for years with the Spurs. How many championships did he win?
No, I'm not saying it's smart or not. It's terrible business for the NBA.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there, and that could start a whole nother conversation. This has gone long enough. But I'm right there with you. I think if Stafford was healthy and 100%, this would be a far more interesting game with him being banged up and no running game for Detroit. I think this makes it a lot more simple for Dallas, who the only thing I worry about there is they are a pretty young team, especially at the quarterback and running back positions. Does their focus get a little bit knocked off just for the fact that Christmas was the day before? They are now the number 1 seed. Do they get a little too cocky? Either way, it doesn't matter whether they win or lose at this, but I'm still taking Dallas in this game.
Yeah, I think you guys are right. I look at this and I kind of think to myself, this is perfect for Dallas to find a way to lose, only because they come into this game knowing that they've got everything locked up and, I don't have to play as hard, but I hope that they are motivated, and I think they will be. Give me Dallas.
I just think, Jason Garrett coaches them much better than that. They're not going to have this whole, we already locked it up, who cares mentality. I think they're going to go out there, they're going to play like they've played all year, and they're going to handle business,
And I just want to ask one more question really quickly. Ezekiel Elliott's only 159 yards if for each game for the last 2 games before he breaks Dickerson's record. Do you think the Cowboys don't care? Do you think Zeke doesn't care? They don't even try to get him to that point each game?
I mean, I think this game, you try to get what you can, everything. But if you're not within, say, I want to say like 70 yards or something before you start the Eagles game, I mean, obviously, unless you're just not playing your starters at all in that game, if you're planning to play the first half, I think you try to do what you can against the Eagles, because I think Zeke certainly cares. I don't know. I mean, I think the Cowboys would care, but I don't think that that's something that you risk getting him hurt over either,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. If he goes out and puts up like 200-some yards on Monday, maybe say, okay, you have a half to get there. If they go out and he doesn't put up a huge amount in this game, there's no point in playing him week 17, especially if like the number is as high as you say, where it's going to be tough for him to get it, even if they really tried to get there.
And that's an Eagles defense that's got to be making sure everything hell or high water they don't get that record against them.
So yeah, I don't think he's going to get there, and honestly, I don't think they're really going to make that big of an effort to get him there.
Fair enough.
All right, that's it for week 16. We'll be back to discuss all of it plus more on the Monday night edition. Hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. They've been having a Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever else you celebrate at this time of year. Enjoy it with your families, with your friends, whoever it is that you enjoy it with. Anything else you guys want to say here before we get out of here?
Yeah, just enjoy your weekend of football for sure, and don't let the Grinch steal anything from you.
I promise I'm not going to steal anything from anyone, okay?
Don't worry, Randy. I know your heart will grow in twice its size.
That's not good.
Maybe it's not. Hold on. I want to renege on that last comment.
He's probably more likely to have a heart attack.
Yeah, I'm totally backing out of that now.
So, yes, be safe, everybody, and we'll be back on Tuesday morning. See you later.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.